you go, boys. Keep going, keep going, keep going.
Yeah, my name's Craig Catterick and I'm the Medical and Rehabilitation Coordinator at the Panthers.
Outstanding, Nat. Outstanding, mate.
My role involves looking after anyone that's not in full training. So any injured player, someone that needs top-ups, my role is to monitor them to make sure that their training loads marry up to as best they can with the normal group as they do full-time training. As people get fitter, the main group go like this. Our job is to make sure that that gap when they come back is narrow, and that's what I really like, is to make sure that someone, when they take their first game back after a long-term injury, that they're able to compete at that level and think that they've done the work and get the results for that hard work. I don't believe in luck, I believe in results for hard work, and if you've done the work, then it'll show. We've made a decision this year that the rehab group will do the bulk of their conditioning early in the morning. So those boys are in about 5:40 a.m. For a 6 o'clock start. We would have done the plans the night before, so I sit down with the physio and the strength and conditioning staff to find out what they're going to do. The communication is massive. It is massive. We talk multiple times every day, from coaching staff to physio to the strength and conditioning staff, high performance staff. It's just a collaboration of information.
We're pretty privileged to have such a close-knit team, but also a well-resourced team, and everyone in their roles are what I believe the best in the game. So Craig Catterick for me is the best in the game. There's a reason why he's worked in these rep teams for 100 years. He's worked in the game for a long time. He's a real caring person. He might seem like a real hard man, you know. He plays the bad cop for me at times.
Righto, boys. Stop it. Knock it on the head. Fredo. Fredo. You two. What have you done? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When we're fatigued, attention to detail. Right? Go and get a drink. Go and get a drink.
He's very caring and he'll do anything for anybody. He's a link between the medical team, the physical team and the coaching team.
Welcome to the physiotherapy room. As you can see, we've got a giant whiteboard here, which is the first thing that we're confronted with when we walk in the morning, and this basically forms the nerve centre of what we do each day in the physio department. Basically, we have a number of templates that will be on the board that will list all the currently injured players, where they're at with their injury and their timeline for recovery. If we continue into our room here, as you can see over here, we've got a nice big matted area with all the typical physiotherapy equipment and resources that the players will use. And this is where they're out to achieve their daily rehab goals and work towards getting themselves back on the paddock. Over here, we've got 3 physiotherapy tables, which we do a bulk of our manual therapy and hands-on work with the players. And that can get extremely busy, as you'd probably be aware, from time to time. Typically after lunch, after a big training session, there'll be boys lining up to get on the beds here. If we continue over here to the other side of the room, we have a couple more whiteboards which basically list players and their availabilities for that day. This runs from NRL to CC Cup, right down to Fleg. And we basically break players up right down from full training to mod training and alternate type training if they're really injured and need to be away from the main team. One of the things we're really proud of here at the Panthers, which has a high development focus, is that we have upwards of 100 players spread across those 3 grades. It allows us to know exactly what they can and can't do, and then I can effectively relay that through to coaches on high performance, and particularly our medical coordinator, Craig Catterick, who can facilitate what they do and don't do.
Jay, you're out. You're out of the game. You did try your arm. You're out of the game. Lost privileges, off. Get off. Get off. Get off. No, you're out of the game for your own good. I love your enthusiasm. You can't control yourself. You're banished in the bin, 10.
The pool sessions are multifaceted. Some people actually need a bit of deloading. Some people actually need to condition themselves as well as being deloaded. And what I'm saying that is, we had, for instance, Dean Bloor, who's got a shoulder injury. We just wanted to get him off the normal day-to-day stuff that he does here. So his was more of a respite, low intensity session at that time. He was on the aquatic bike, turned his legs over, then went for a walk backwards and forwards. That was more of a mental thing as well as just a low-key conditioning. Whereas at the other end of the pool, we had Nathan Cleary and Spencer Leonard. The lower limb blokes could actually get some conditioning in the pool to get their heart rates up and get their lungs blown.
You've got to go that way, he's going to that way. See who drags who. Go! Time that. What? You went backwards, mate. What happened? Stick the fork in, boys. You're done. Have a good stretch.
People that are in long-term rehab, they've got different demons running through their heads at times, and we've got to maintain a positive focus even though they have down days. And that comes with the style of training that we do. So I tend to collaborate with them a lot as well, talking how they're feeling. Because you're with these guys every day, you tend to know what's motivating, what's keeping them up, what's keeping them down.
Stay strong in the middle, Dana. Stop waving your head like a windscreen wiper. That's it. Work on your body language. Even when you're on this, work on your body language. Keep going. Come on, 45 seconds.
Definitely a conscious decision to get them out in the open, because sometimes you do feel isolated when you're injured. It also does the guys who are in full-time training good to see how hard that the rehab guys and the alternate conditioning guys are working.
Good work. See, that goes to triple figures, that one must be faulty. Come on, you can do it.
And it starts from explaining the injury from the very beginning, being as personal as you can with the player about that, explaining to them timelines for recovery, limitations of movement that they might have in that time, and also the nature of the training, the different types of training they're going to be doing at that time. And they need to understand all that. I feel if you know the player well enough, which is again a huge part of our job to get to know the player intimately, that you have their trust, they've got our trust, and usually that conversation is not as hard as what you think. It's a natural emotion to go through when you have a bit of trauma, and especially when players are pushing for positions in pre-season and things like that, and that realisation that they're going to be out of the game for a while, it's difficult to contend with. I'd have to say that's probably the hardest thing we do, managing expectations of players, and it typically doesn't come out until later on down the process during their rehab, because they're talking to more people, they're speaking to other players who have had injuries, they're listening to the media typically. So their head's filled with reasons of why can't I start things earlier. So they're always in our ear as physios. I guess us as physios, we need to really back ourselves. At the end of the day, we're here to get the best out of them as footy players, but not jeopardise the injury as such.
The notion of getting an injured player back earlier used to focus on just getting them fit to come back. I do believe now that a multifaceted approach, and that is the mind, getting them back with a healthy mind, getting them back with a healthy skill set, that's massive.
Outstanding, mate. Outstanding. You too, Brado. One-legged, mate. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Work on your body language. Stand up. That's good.
Stand up, sorry.
Everyone stand up strong.